I would tell anybody, if you are a creator, if you like to do what you do, especially if you are a YouTuber, I say take a chance doing whatever. If it starts off slow, if you don't see the comments, the likes, and the views that you want, don't let that set you back. Because honestly, whatever you put out nowadays, you're flipping the coin. Because my God, there are millions and billions of people out here who might like what you do. Take a chance and believe in yourself before you put it out.
3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Reactorverse podcast brought to you by Passionfruit. I am joined today by really pioneers of the space. They established themselves in the YouTube community almost going on a decade now. And I knew, when I started this thing, I had to get them because they represented an era of YouTube that has really shifted since then. And now they're still here, still a staple of the reaction community. And I wanted to pick their brains on how to flex their creative and comedic muscles, so to speak. They are the legendary MDogg and Struggle Soldier of the Struggle Nation. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Like I said, you've been in the YouTube game for a while now, and I've had the pleasure to meet you out here in LA when you guys were here last time. And one of the things I really appreciate about your work in the space, everything you do, is that you're eager to collab with people. You're eager to participate within the community. And so I knew when I was doing this, I had to have you back on because you've been such great contributors to everyone's sort of growth in this space. So yeah, I want to dive into the whole thing, the whole journey of how you guys got here. So for a lot of channels, I usually start with the name, the origin of how you guys started, and your name is Struggle Nation, but formerly, up until somewhat recently, it was for a long time EchoMog.
Yeah,
that was the brand for both of you. What was the origin of that?
So we started off doing hip hop, and from that we started doing comedy sketches as a way to kind of promote our hip hop. We wanted a unique way to promote the music. So number one, we wanted a unique name, and we picked that because it was an acronym for every change occurs musically over generations. So we kind of wanted that to be the umbrella for everything when we got into doing skits, and because the skits got really popular, which we didn't expect. So we're like, all right, we enjoy doing this, so we want to do it more, so we'll just branch out and do everything. So from that led to doing reactions eventually under the same name. The problem was nobody knew how the hell to say this name or what it meant, and every time I said it, I had to explain it. I'm like, what does that mean? What is EcoMod? What is that? I'm like, all right. I'm like, we need a better name. We need something that kind of promotes who we are and is catchy and sounds good. And one of our viewers, I'll never forget, he coined the name Struggle Nation, and immediately when I heard it, I'm like, yeah, that's us. Because we're struggling every video, every time, like behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, all that. So I'm like, okay, I want that to be the identity and the name. And we took it, we ran with it. And that's how it started. And here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Well, like you said, you guys started, I guess, on YouTube with your YouTube work, doing sketch comedy. Yeah. And that was a big part of the channel for the first few years. What was the sort of start with that? How'd you get started doing that? Were there any sort of inspirations you guys were trying to emulate when you were making those?
That day.
Yeah. The sketch comedy started. Because we were fans of In Living Color and Mad TV and all that. Of course, Chappelle Show. We kind of wanted to do something super ridiculous. So it kind of started with my cousin just writing a random sketch with random names, like even the name MDogg. We just pulled that out of a hat, but we want the most ridiculous sounding name ever. So you're a fake gangster called MDogg. You're doing this and all that. Branched out, started doing more ridiculous. We wanted to make each one more ridiculous than the last. I never forget. There's one that we have where me and him having a conversation, and we're saying the most vile language ever, but every time we say it, there's this really nice sounding white guy dubbing our voiceover with like really pleasantries.
Right, with the hand motion and the facial expressions.
We're doing this, and he's just saying, I want to have a nice candlelight dinner, and stuff like that.
But so, behind closed doors, we're not saying some nice.
So it's stuff like that. We were inspired by all kinds of comedy, and of course we're ridiculous people anyway.
Yeah,
that's why we're able to improv so well. So it kind of started with that and escalated, and we ended up kind of integrating our improv and comedy into the reactions because we wanted a unique way to do it, and it ended up working.
Yeah. I mean, like you mentioned, you guys are really good at improv, as people can see from the reactions and your just general chemistry. Did you guys have any sort of proper training of that, or is this all just kind of self-taught?
No, honestly, going back towards the videos we did before we started YouTube in general, we have always had it. We would film, we would just film things, and we just realized after a while we didn't need a script. We would tell each other what we need to talk about, and we would just go with it. And this is before YouTube. Right. So when we started YouTube, we tried it out and we realized we are already good at creating images and stories out of nowhere. So we put that into a reaction type style, and it just started to catch. And we realized this is us. We are going to be different from every other reaction channel by using our improv to improve the comedy, but also to make us, it just helped us. Our improv skills has helped us elevate. Yeah. And it also helped us be original. Like we till this day, we still feel as though there is no one else doing what we do because of our improv skills.
Yeah. I mean, you're totally right. It translates very well, perfectly to the reactions, because that is what it is, right? It's improv. It's reacting live on the spot, on the fly to what is happening in front of you on screen. But with the sketches, though, you guys seem to sort of take off like right away. I mean, even right now, going back looking at your first video, it got over 200,000 views on it. Was that the case when it debuted? Did you guys get like a sort of huge reception?
No. No. That it's like it was a gamble when we did it. So I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. And it's a slow start. Then you get a little stressed out, like, okay, it's not doing what I thought it was gonna do, but it's over time it'll grow. So it's what we wanted to do. So I'm like, we're gonna stick to it.
Yeah. How did the general progression of the reception help kind of influence your dedication to keep doing it?
Man, comments.
Yeah. That's a big part of it. Comments, and it can be a double-edged sword. It can be either positive or negative, but the positive always outweighed the negative, and the reception of it was really inspiring and exciting too. So when we saw it's always a gamble when you do something risky like that, like especially when you got a crazy mind like ours. You put something out there, it can be accepted any kind of way, and when it's overwhelmingly positive like that, no matter how many views it gets, it's like, okay, well, people like this, people want to see this. I enjoy doing it. Let's keep doing it.
Let's keep doing it.
Yeah. Right.
Video after video. You do your first video, you see a few comments that say, this is hilarious. You do your second video. Who are these guys? And like you said, you get the negative and you get the positive, but the positive outweighed the negative every time. And people started to comment on the difference in what we do. And this is early on. So we started to film more and more reactions, and that turned into us saying, hey, we can actually do this.
Right.
Mind you, while doing it, we sort of we were still like in limbo with it. We didn't know if this was us for sure. But I think that was it the Winter Soldier?
It was a Civil War, I believe.
Yeah. We realized that the more we stayed in character, the more positive the outcome was for us. Even if I have the date wrong, I do know for sure it was midwinter, around January. And I came home from work and he said, let's try this. And when we tried it, it might have been the best thing ever.
Right.
Because I didn't know what we were doing. He mentioned reactions. I was like, what? I didn't know what they were.
Yeah. It was 2015. From when I could check, it was 2015. You guys did a double feature reaction for your first reaction.
Yeah, that's
right. Captain America: Civil War, and then Batman vs Superman, which were going to come out, I think, around March that year. And yeah, what was the decision to jump into reactions? Coming from sketches into that, like, was that something you just sort of felt naturally you gravitated towards?
It's a lot. It's number one. I've watched reactions since before they were putting the footage on the screen. Like, with way back in the day when, even when people react to the crazy stuff, which I'm not going to name.
Yeah.
But I've seen them evolve, and I've always watched them. I've always loved them. And me and him, like we always say, every time we go watch a movie or something, we're in the car snapping about it. The discussion that we're having in the car, it's like, this is similar to the discussion we could have in front of a camera. So I'm like, I see these reactions. I love them so much. I want to do them too, because like we have stuff that we want to share and a unique spin on it. So I'm like, I told him about it. I'm like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try this, and we're going to see if it works.
Right.
Like, of course, it's a gamble, but we're gonna see if it works, and if it does, we're going to stick with it.
Right. Did you guys have any by the time you started with the reactions in 2015? Were there any other channels you kind of were specifically following that you saw that you liked, or was it still just like the idea of like sort of the general reaction space that you were a fan of?
I used to watch Akasan's channel a lot. Back then, it was definitely Akasan, because he was one of the original ones doing it, like with the camera and the footage and all of that. Other than that, it's probably just a bunch of random channels I don't even remember the name of.
Yeah, it was just the huge landscape of it at that point. Yeah.
And see, he watched certain channels. Me, I had no clue what a reaction was as far as YouTube.
I was a YouTube junkie.
The only thing that I had watched that had anything to do with a reaction might have been in 2013, early 2014. I was watching different videos based upon people reacting to the death of Paul Walker.
All right.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
I didn't know that I was watching a reaction channel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ignorant to the fact that reaction channels exist. So I don't know what I'm watching. So my first encounter with a reaction was a guy reacting to Paul Walker's breaking news.
Right.
And that was the first time I've seen a reaction setup. So now it's 2015, and I remember, like, hey, people are doing reactions. And I guess that little bit helped me understand what a reaction was. So, like I said before, when we started doing reactions, we made sure we used who we really were.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exaggerated,
but
we didn't actually go out and rob people. But
yeah, we don't actually go out and rob people. Like, we had to add to the story. We had to illustrate, and create. But at the end of the day, this is who we really are. Like, goofy, silly. We just love to laugh and enjoy life. And I think that's why a lot of people wanted to join our community after a while.
Yeah.
Because we would always speak on just enjoying films, enjoying TV shows, not trying to be critics.
Right.
Just sitting back, laughing and smiling and crying if you have to while watching TV shows, movies, commercials, trailers.
And the crazy thing is, like, it started out small, but the more people that showed up and the bigger we got, people used to be mad at me because, of course, we're playing characters, exaggerated. Yeah. So, I'm the way I am, and I always clown him for whatever reason. And people thought it was real, which was always a compliment to me. I'm like, wow, we must be really good actors if they think this is real. Like, we're being ridiculous. Like, this is when we're wearing trash bags. Yeah. I'm like, how do you think this is? But they used to hate me. Like, I used to get roasted in the comments. I'm reading, I'm laughing. I'm like, they don't even know it's real. Like,
yeah.
But
all right, let's keep doing it.
But then there was a shift. Like, it went from people saying, why are you treating him so bad? This was every other comment. Why are you treating him so bad? Then the comment shifted over to, why is he so stupid, talking about me? So I really had to learn within 1 year. I had to learn to not let the comments affect me.
Right.
I had to learn from the comments. It didn't change who I was. It didn't change my performance, but it helped me perfect the craft. The comments are not supposed to bring you down. You are supposed to learn from them. Instead of reading like, oh my gosh, they don't like this. They don't like this. if you do that, you destroy who you are.
Right.
So thank God for the comments. That's all I can say. Thank God for the comments.
After years of dealing with comments, you form a very thick skin.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell
They will
yeah.
find everything. Why is glass like that? Why is bandana crooked? Like, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
they mad about something, they're going to take it out on you. So,
Yeah. It's a heated relationship between the YouTubers in the comments.
yeah.
But like I mentioned, you guys, started with Captain America: Civil War, Batman vs Superman, kind of a really big sort of pivotal moment for the fandom of DC, Marvel, the sort of like, one versus the other, but also just like the shift in like what those movies were becoming at that point.
Yeah.
Like, what is your personal history with like those big franchises like DC, Marvel, Star Wars, all that stuff?
You first.
And this is me just being straightforward and honest. He introduced me to the Marvel world. I'm just going to speak about Marvel right now. He introduced me to the Marvel world. He introduced me to seeing movies at midnight or the day before it actually drops, which is Thursday.
Night releases, baby.
Right.
The very first film that brought me into the Marvel world was Iron Man 3. We went to Cherry Hill Lowe's. We went to Lowe's Theater in Cherry Hill. He took me there, and it blew my mind. Everybody was in costume. This is before you were able to reserve your seats.
All right. I remember
So
those
everybody
days.
is standing in line. Like they're waiting outside the auditorium, and they're dressed up. And I'm realizing like this is a whole different world that I never even knew about. And once he introduced me to that, I just became a movie theater addict at this point. DC, Marvel, anything. So that right there, my gosh.
Me, I watched all of them. If it was a comic book movie, I'm watching it. Watchmen, you name it. Back in the day, Blade, like I was already. It started with the X-Men cartoon back in the day, and that kind of like sparked my interest in comics, DC, Marvel, all that. Of course, Batman. I watched every single Batman. I love these movies since the beginning, and seeing them evolve the way they did was exciting to me. Like I enjoyed being on that journey and seeing how they were back then. Back then, there was some wild movies. Like you go back and look at it now, like what the hell were they doing? But then you look at it now, I'm like, well, it started there, but it's evolved so much. Like these are $1 million blockbusters now, and they look like we thought they looked back then. Like back then, we thought it was real life. Like, oh man, look at the effects. Look at it now. Like what the hell? Now,
try?
Now it's the way we see it in our mind when we read the comics as a kid. Like
Right.
we imagine all this, like the Avengers and the Justice League and all that. In our mind, we saw what it could be, and it's like that now. It's matched up to what we saw. So seeing that has been exciting. Like I loved it. Like every single step of the way, I'm there. I'm a fanatic for this, and seeing it on the big screen is one of the best things that could ever happen to me.
Yeah. As you guys say, you go, day one, as you always say.
Day one, we there.
Yeah. It sounds very similar to, kind of like why I enjoy the movie going experience. It is the community. It is the sort of like, communal sense of being with very passionate people about it. And that's easily generated by big fandoms, big movies, big blockbusters. And I remember those days. I remember the old days of midnight screenings when, you couldn't reserve the seat. You had to be there, had to line up
early.
at 11 a.m. if you want to get a good seat.
Yep.
If your friends are running late, you're like, hey, man, I'll be there, 5 minutes before we go in. It's like, no, you got to be here earlier than that,
hold
man.
these spot and-
Do you guys have a favorite memory of a midnight screening that you went to back in the day?
It might not have been midnight, but it was, I think it was an 8 p.m. show. And the memory that me and him have is ridiculous. Once again, it was Iron Man 3. We were running late. The movie started at 8. We left out of the house at 7:42. At this point, I had just bought, what was it, a Dodge? Was it a Charger?
Yeah.
I had, it was a gift. I had got a Dodge Charger as a gift, and we were running late. I think we drove about 126 miles per hour.
Hypothetically,
just to make it in time. But in between going to make it to this movie on time and to get a good seat, we also stopped at Burger King. We're eating burgers while rushing to make it to this theater on time to get good seats and to see it on time. So now we get our good seats at the theater, but now we are suffering from indigestion.
I swallowed that burger like a pill.
Like a pill. And he's sitting like you see him trying to breathe in the theater. Meanwhile, I'm trying to breathe as well. So this is a memory that we will never forget because we enjoyed the movie and we were also able to get middle seats in a crowded theater. But what we had to do to get there on time and what we did in between was something we will never forget.
Right.
It's been so long. I don't really even remember the midnight. I think we there was a midnight release for a Fast and Furious movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think
there must have been. It's been around for so long.
And
the last midnight release we went to go see was The Dark Knight. Remember, it was Delaware Avenue. It was The Dark Knight. The final installation.
But there was a Fast and Furious one though too.
For a midnight release that we went to see?
Because I remember there being cars in the driveway. I'm not driveway.
It was
in the parking lot and people revving up the engines and all that.
It was Cherry Hill Lows again.
Yeah. And that was pretty exciting. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, thankfully, it's a little easier to get into those movies now with reserved seating and whatnot.
Reserved seating. Thank God for that. Oh my God, man.
I don't know. I am grateful for reserved seating.
Yes,
but there was something about. There were just certain things about not being able to reserve your seat and seeing everybody pile up in the hallway to get good seats.
Right.
It just
missed the chaos. I don't.
It was, but it showed you how much people enjoyed going to the movies.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
so I reserving my seat though.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, it makes me nostalgic to think about the back in the day everyone lined up in the parking lot, hanging out for a couple hours ahead of time. Yeah, it's a fun time. But at the time though, when you started with Batman vs Superman and Captain America: Civil War, like I said, that turned into like a really sort of tumultuous time for the fandom. What was it like, sort of starting reactions in that specific time when things eventually started like heating up really quickly once those movies even came out?
We were blessed.
I think we picked the best time to do this. Like we picked the best time to jump into this because number one, it's already stuff that I love. And when you're covering movies that you love, it just makes the whole situation better. Like it's like the perfect marriage. It's like the things I love doing, both of them, like YouTube and covering these movies that I'm really looking forward to, and that ended up being really, really, really great for me. So I think it was like just perfect timing.
Yeah, and with the fandom, sort of shifting over time with everyone's take on this movie, that movie, who's better, what's not. I remember a clip from an older video of yours from a few years ago of your kind of sentiment about just how you want to view movies, how you want to talk about movies, which is, if you're going to criticize something, it's fair to criticize it, but you don't have to be an asshole and you don't have to like ruin someone's enjoyment about it.
Right.
And that's like, that was a kind of like a big stance of yours. Yeah. How's your relationship with that aspect of fandom changed or evolved over the years as we've gotten deeper into like sort of each franchise universe?
I think there's people have gotten very, very critical, and I feel like the negativity is just like it's way too much. No matter which way you go, man, which thing you're a fan of. And it's evolved to the point where finding the positive, you got to search for it. And I don't know why that is. Maybe, and I always say maybe people are spoiled and they got too much. But it's like there's a way to talk about something where you're not just like tearing it down. And I don't know. I guess it depends on how you look at it. But like us. Personally, I even the stuff that we don't like I've learned to talk about it in a way where I'm not just like ripping it to shreds, and I'm like I try to look for the good in it, and then if there's only a little bit, I'll say that, but then I'm like, but here's what I feel about it. There's a way to do it where you're not just like
when we talk. Let's say we talk about a movie or a show that we didn't like. We never try to tell the viewer to not go see it.
Yeah, it's like if I don't like it, but you like it, that's great.
Right, that's what we want.
There's a lot of movies and shows that we don't like, but others do, and then that's fine. Like we just agree to disagree. You like it, I don't, and then that's it. Like I don't have to clown you for not liking it. It doesn't make sense. Like people are here to enjoy entertainment. You're supposed to enjoy entertainment no matter what it is. There's shows that we don't like. Right, if you like it, that's great. I'm glad you like it. There's other stuff I like. If you don't like it, then it is what it is. That's how it should be.
And we try to make sure our viewers and the people who love us understand that you can be honest. You don't have to like what we like. You don't have to hate what we hate. We want you to tell us why you liked it. We're not here to tell you, well, you're stupid for liking that, because people are attacking other people for liking or not liking things. Like, personally, I wasn't the biggest fan of what was it? Get Out?
Get Out, yeah.
Get Out. And, a lot of people were just like, hey, how can you not like this or love this? And I said, I just personally...
Not for me.
It's not for me. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean I'm going to bash you for liking it. We just have a difference in opinions. But this is what makes the YouTube community beautiful. I want to see us disagree sometimes, but respectfully. Right. Don't ever tell somebody you're stupid or a fool because you love what I didn't love.
The good thing about that is when you have a difference of opinion, it leads to discussion, which is what should happen all the time anyway.
Boom.
Why? Here's why I didn't like it. Why do you like it? And then sometimes you never know, your opinion could change or whatever like that. 'Cause I've seen that happen multiple times where I had conversations with people about movies they didn't like it, but I did. I explained exactly why I liked it, and then they came around, and vice versa. Like, discussion should be had. We all shouldn't think the same off the bat anyway. That's not how we're programmed.
Yeah, because that's corny. I don't want everybody to think how I think.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you make totally valid points. Several other channels I've managed to speak with on here for the same subject agree. It's like the idea of like you want to put your energy into building up something that you want to praise, you want to be constructive about it, as opposed to focusing your energy on the negativity, because then that feeds into a cycle of like that's all you can start talking about. That's all you can start focusing on. And for the channel, it's going on several years now in the reactions. You around 2019 is when I met you guys when you came out to LA, and MDogg, that was a big move that you made to be out here for a while. Right before everything kind of fell apart in the world. What was the reason behind the move? Like, did you feel that was like a major risk involved, I guess, in terms of like, maintaining the channel?
Yeah, it definitely was a risk. But I feel like it's a move that we had to make, and eventually we're both going to go out there. Mm-hmm. But and if it didn't pay off, I would have like, damn, one day I tried it, didn't work, but
it paid off.
That's some of the best times of my life. Like the connections I made. Like LA is when you're doing this any kind of YouTube, like LA is the place to be. Mm-hmm. And man, I was just there for like a couple years, and the people that I've connected with and the things I've done, it is probably one of the best moves that I could have made. And unfortunately, the world fell apart, so I had to come back, because I'm like the way things were, because the plan was always to get him out there too. But with the world falling apart and it turned into Walking Dead, I'm like, you know what?
And that's where the delay was. Like he left 2 weeks after we watched Endgame, right?
Yeah.
He left 2 weeks after Avengers Endgame came out. And when I tell you, he would FaceTime me while he was down there. And that's why I'm going to say right now, it paid off very well for him to go down there. Mm-hmm. He experienced a lot. He learned a lot. He met people who I never thought that he would meet.
Same.
So I'm sitting here looking like, this is what I want for the both of us. And I was happy as hell he was down there. So that motivated me and him to basically put ourselves into a position to leave Philadelphia and go to LA. That's where we're going to end up regardless.
Yeah.
I'm a Lakers fan. Like, I am a stone cold, cold-blooded Lakers fan. So it was always, that's where we're supposed to be. He loves LA. I love LA. And we just want to be bigger than what we are. So the plan is, let's get down there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. At that time, you managed to, like you said, collab with a lot of people. Greg from the Real Rejects. You appeared in John Campia's documentary about movie trailers, which I did the
these
trailer
are crazy
for.
opportunities that I would never have that. Like that, man. The stuff that happened in LA, man, I'll remember for the rest of my life. I'm like, I was only there for 2 years, and I was in a documentary. I was on the set of a movie. Like, I was collaborating with the Real Rejects. Went to San Diego Comic-Con. I'm like, my God, like these are the things that I wanted to do. They've been on my bucket list for the
And he
the
became
longest.
great friends with someone who we would always react to.
Oh yeah, Danny from Rock and Rock. Rock and Rock is a channel that we reacted to for so long. I met him and got to hang out with this dude on a daily basis, and was in a couple of his videos. It is just that whole situation is crazy to me. Now him and his brother made a movie. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
man,
Exactly. Yeah, I wanted to know.
LA, man, that's the place to be. I can't wait to go back.
I wanted to know what was your thoughts, on that, seeing that pop up, their new movie that's coming out.
The thing is, I knew about it for a while because
Oh, really?
because it was being worked on, and this is like, when you work on the movie, it takes a while to get things going. That's what a lot of people don't realize. It takes a long time, but to see that, I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
All right.
And that's a talented dude too. Can I curse on here or no?
Yes.
I can.
Yes.
That's a talented motherfucker. Because it's one thing watching him and his brother, because they crazy people on videos, but to meet the dude, and he's one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. He's high energy, very, very hardworking, and a genuine person. And that's what I appreciate, because you never know how someone's going to be when you meet them.
You meet him in person.
Yeah.
It's like they became like heroes of ours. And meeting them and chilling with him on a daily basis and seeing how he operated, and there was a situation when we were in the house, we were all partying, he was in a room with the door closed on a laptop editing. Like, I'm like, that's what kind of person he is.
Yeah.
And just to see this, I'm like, well, of course this is what's going to happen. Like, they deserve all the accolades in the world, because him and his brother are some of the hardest working people in the world.
But that's why I say it was good that he went down there, because he turned into the person. He was always like that, but he turned into the person that he just spoke about. Like, nowadays, you won't, and I'm not saying this to be funny, but you won't catch him going outside, like, to party or do that. He will edit Monday through Sunday.
I'm in the bat cave.
He's in the back cave. He'll edit. He'll come up with
project
new
the sun.
ideas. He'll say, "We can." I'm looking like, "Yo, bro, it's Friday night. What's up? Are we out?" He's like, "Yo, no, but I have another idea that we could possibly jump into." And I look at it like, you know what? It's the perfect blend, because you need somebody to tell you, "Look, we can party later. Let's knock this out, so we can get to a certain point where partying would make sense." So him going to LA really paid off mentally for the both of us. Like, it was a blessing. I needed him to go out there, and I didn't even know I needed him to go out there. Like, he turned into a whole different YouTube demon, and I loved it.
That's what you got to do.
It invigorates the hustle to see what everyone else is doing. And but with that, I guess I feel like I see you streaming like almost like every night, like all night, at least from my time zone where you're at. How do you personally manage that level of hustle that you have, and still stay sane, do some self-care, keep balanced?
I wish I knew. I wish I had the answer to that. I don't. I really don't.
Yeah.
It's just me. I'm someone who likes to keep working, and when I think of a new idea, I gotta do it immediately while it's still in my head, because I hyper focus on it, and I'm always trying to elevate things and push things further and try this and try that and see what works, see what doesn't work. And my brain is 24/7, so I'm like, all right, well, let's go. And now I'm blessed with an editor, so now I have the option to like film something, ship it off to him, and either edit something different or stream while he's working on it, so something can always be done like at all times. So
and it gives him the opportunity to try to sleep for at least 2 hours and 18 minutes if possible.
the stay insane part, I don't know. Like, one day I'll figure that out, but right now it's grind time.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. I feel sort of creatively fulfilled, when I'm working on something, when I have an idea, I get it done. Like that is what the energy, that I bring in through that. But then, when you were out here for a while in LA, when you went back, how was that creatively sort of, again, like you were out here and you were trying to make it happen here, but unfortunately, just because of the pandemic and everything, it like really put a crutch on just that sort of progression. When you went back, how was it trying to like bounce back, get back into the rhythm of like the flow of what was before?
I mean, it was easy because the thing is, me and him have been friends for so long. It's like, it's not something you had to relearn. It's like we sat on the couch, we put the camera on, and we just went like we didn't miss a step.
This is at all.
I mean, I kind of felt like it was gonna be like that anyway, because I'm like, it's not like I'm doing videos with a stranger now. It's like I still like family. So, it wasn't really difficult. It was just, just getting back into it.
Yeah.
Just turn the camera on and go. We're still stupid people.
Yep.
I mean, you mentioned, that you've been friends for so long. I guess I forgot to ask, what is the origin there? The origin of like your guys' friendship? How'd you two meet?
We met at the same job. We both worked at the hospital together. I met him December 8th, 2008. I met him. By January 2009, he invited me over to his house. That's when I met him and the group that he had already formed as far as music. And that's when me and him started to become closer and closer. I started to see what he would get into, making beats, making music, rapping. Every Friday we would have like these freestyle ciphers. And then I started to realize he also does, he gets into filming, like short movies, short films and skits. Like, mind you, we met in 2008. By 2009, I'm hanging around him and his squad every day.
Right.
Yeah, it was just crazy how things just fell into place.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, like the creative energy around that, I think is like it's easy to gravitate towards, like that sort of ensemble piece of working together in the space. And now you're here, and you mentioned the short films, and the thing about the channel that I noticed really early on was that you're not only making skits and short films, but you still highlight them to this day. Like you still put an effort into watching original content from like smaller creators, and many of that being like horror films. Like you have like a really sort of like strong appeal for the horror genre. What is your history with that genre?
Number one, we always loved horror films. There's nothing like going to the theater like the day of a release of a horror film, and then I'll never forget. What was it?
The Conjuring?
No. Before that, Paranormal Activity 3.
Oh my!
There's a scene in Paranormal Activity 3 where it just happens, and we almost backflipped out of our seat. Like, I think that's when you dropped the whole tub of popcorn.
I dropped a whole
tub of popcorn on the ground. It's
my $10 bucket of popcorn.
There's nothing like that feeling. So we always gravitated toward horror film, and then finding out that there's an infinite resource of short horror films on YouTube, that was like the best thing ever. I'm like, all right, well, let's dive into this. And then we watched Lights Out, and it ruined my life. I can't rewatch Lights Out, the short film, because like there's a face in there that I still have in the back of my mind. I'm like, I don't want to see that again. Like it ruined me. That having that effect on me, I'm like, well, we got to find more. So we ended up just diving into it and finding all kinds of stuff. And it got to the point where the directors of these short films not only were watching what our reactions and commenting on them, but they were also sending us stuff that they made, which I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So we loved it. We always loved it.
Yeah, having that, that's what you need, right? That cycle of like, you get the reception of them seeing you, they want you to do more, they send you more, and then it's a good resource to just keep trying out. I even saw your reaction to David F. Sandberg's new short that he did last month.
Man, that ruined me too.
Yeah,
like, he still got it. Like, why? Yeah. I almost like we were Super Mario Brothers in that one.
Yeah, we just that was
we jumped to the ceiling.
Right,
and we love what he does because he writes about and he displays what you might really be afraid of if you're in the house by yourself.
And it's so simple, but so effective.
So effective.
I'm like, all his productions are a camera, his wife, one location, and he's able to make that terrifying. I'm like, this dude is a genius.
It's so simple because we all feel the same when we are looking down the hallway out of our bedroom.
I think I see something. I don't know what it is.
How does your investment in horror, the horror franchise, compare to like the other ones like DC, Marvel, Star Wars, whatever? Do you have any aspirations to maybe dip your toes into like making your own short form horror thing? Yeah. Oh yeah.
We played around with one back in the day, and we called the VHS 3. That's before another VHS came out, and that's because I had an idea of doing horror but mixing it with comedy. It was really low budget. It was really chaotic. It was a mess to put together. But I still appreciate it. It's my baby. So I always wanted to number one, make a sequel to that. And number two, there's an idea I've been kicking around for I wrote it while I was in LA. And I've been kicking around for a while. And one day we're going to make this. I'm not even going to say what it is, but it's going to be a shock to the system. But yeah, I love horror. I love watching it. Unfortunately, these days a lot tends to let us down in the theater. But I still have an attachment to horror. I want to see it succeed because I want to be scared, and I also want to try my hand at working on one again.
Right. Do you guys have again, like going back to Rocket and like the new movie coming out? Do you guys have any other sort of aspirations for other YouTubers that that you might like to see sort of evolve to make it big? Like, are there any other channels you're keeping tabs on? You're like, I want to see if they can make a movie.
I don't know if I can talk about this.
Okay.
Only because I don't know if it's public yet. But there's a YouTuber friend of mine that's been working on something like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he's talked about it yet. But sure. I would like to see that happen. I know I'm super vague. Like, what the hell are you talking about? But I don't know if I can talk about it yet. I don't want to leak it here if he hasn't talked about it yet, because I don't know if that's a thing.
He called you like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, why you talk about that? Like, oops.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I know he's working on something. I would like to see that, but I want to see everybody succeed, man. Like, it's right. Like what we're doing is like we're it's a blessing that we're in this position. So I'm like, all right, let's take this as far as we can go. Like, if you want to make a movie, want to make a TV show, just do it. Mm-hmm. Like, I want whoever wants to do whatever, just do it. Now's the time.
Yeah, like, just try. I would tell anybody. If you are a creator, if you like to do what you do, especially if you are a YouTuber, I say take a chance doing whatever. If it starts off slow, if you don't see the comments, the likes, and the views that you want, don't let that set you back, because honestly, whatever you put out nowadays, you're flipping the coin.
Right.
You can't expect everything to always just jump off, but you have to take a damn chance.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I always tell my friends that social media should not be taken that serious. I think that if you want to post a picture, just post it. If you have a video you want to post, just post it. Don't worry about the likes and the comments. As long as you're not posting disrespectful, inappropriate stuff, take a chance with what you like. If you like to create short films,
do it.
Just do it. Because my God, there are millions and billions of people out here who might like what you do. Mm-hmm. So just take a chance and let the world tell you if it's good or not. But don't tell yourself, hey, I only got 2 likes so far, I'm not going to do this again. That is the dumbest thing that you can do. Take a chance and believe in yourself before you put it out.
As a YouTube junkie, I see there's a lot of talented people out there. Mm-hmm. And of varying sizes, big, small, medium, it doesn't matter. Like, there's some talented people out there. And I know if they were to, work on something, it would be dope. And I would definitely watch it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that should be a thing.
There are a lot of people who are creating short horror films on YouTube who I wish would actually have a big screen opportunity.
Yeah.
Because we have been to the movies over and over again over the years, and we have been disappointed with a lot of horror films. So I would love to see these people get a chance, because nowadays I feel as though these directors are just throwing crap out there because they have a budget. Mm-hmm. So give these people who still love the art, give these people an opportunity. That's all I ask. And it goes the same for us.
Yeah. I mean, like you mentioned, being a YouTube junkie, but also being involved in the space for, again, so long now. What are some of the obstacles that you've seen stay, consistent throughout, your experience online? Like the stuff that's still here, stuff that you're still dealing with that you kind of wish, you could still navigate a little easier.
Stuff that I wish it was easier. Maybe YouTube's algorithm and their content ID system and copyright strikes, appeals, and all that. Maybe I wish that was easier, but that's something that we can complain about it forever, but it's probably not going to get any better for a while. But that's really the biggest challenge, because everything else is, it's not really a problem.
Right.
Everything else is manageable. It's just that it's like that thing we have no control over. It's like, all right, what's going to happen today? Like, who's going to come get me?
You just got to live.
Random guy number 3 said, oh, this is my content. Like, what the? You got big studios doing it.
Yeah.
But, what tripped me out is, like, it happened like that in the beginning, but then there was this point where the big studios like Warner Brothers and all that came around and was cool, and they actually started reaching out. I'll never forget when I got like emails from Warner Brothers and Disney, like, yeah, can we use your content? And it's like, it even happened for I think Infinity War. Yeah. Like, they reached out, like, can we use the content in this reel that we're doing to promote the movie? I'm like, whoa. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, they actually watch these. And that's when I realized that, like, yeah, this is good promotion for them too, for these movies and shows and whatever. So that part got a little easier,
right?
But you know, not every company
agrees
cares.
with, yeah.
Like, we don't care if you use our content. Give me that.
I guess how have you seen the landscape change? You know, over the years, in just terms of like not just copyright stuff, but like just the YouTube in general, like like you said, the hustle of like just making stuff.
I think it's evolved, right? Because back in the day, it was like just trailers. Mm-hmm. Now it's TV shows. It's everything. Like, it's movies. Like, reacting to movies back in the day was unheard of. I'm like,
right.
Number one, I thought ain't nobody gonna want to watch a movie for like the whole duration or and all that
Until we realize,
like, but it's a thing now, and people actually want to see it. And I'm like, damn, really?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that it would change the way you can react to anything now. Like, anything. People are reacting to stuff like, even now I'm like, wait, really? But it's evolved, right? Because that's the natural evolution of it. Like, it's not just going to stay with one thing. There's an audience for everything, right. And that landscape has changed like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
pardon my French.
Because look at, I am now a part of the audience that watches people eat some of the spiciest noodles on earth.
I mean, we've always been like that, though, right?
I know, but now I'm starting to watch others do it more, and that's why I bought those noodles on my birthday, because I'm watching somebody eat something called bodeg noodles ×2, and I'm looking like, you know what?
I try to get them to try ×4. You don't want to do that yet, but you want to do it. Like, let's go ahead and do it.
Because I know what's going to happen. If I try ×4, I'm going to be in there till 4 a.m. Like, I'm not going to that bathroom all that time because I ate a noodle. No. But
it's the progression of it. It's the evolution of it. Like, and it's fun to see, really. It's really exciting. I'm like, and I feel like the barrier to entry is lower too, because now it's not, you don't need like an expensive DSLR and all these lights. Some just need a phone. Like, and some literally do it with a phone, and the quality is still up there. I'm like, man, it even looks better than when we started. And we were on a little cheap camera. Like, but yeah, now it's easier to do, and there are some entertaining people out there, and I love seeing it.
Yeah, I guess personally, how do you feel like you've grown, over the years with the channel, through the channel?
We've also evolved. I used to rip things to shreds back then. I look back on that, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, who was I?
Like, I've grown, and that's probably because, like, once you see how things are done, like, once I went to LA, and I was blessed to be on like movie sets and meet people and see how things are done behind the scenes, you understand it's like, it's not just clear cut as I thought it was. Like, there's moving parts, there's things that happen, there, all kinds of things that can affect the production or whatever. And that made me a little bit more understanding to, it's not always, this person's fault, whatever like that. So, I try to change my stance on it and look at the positive. I'm like, okay, well, maybe something happened that caused it to be like this, whatever like that. Because you never know. Like, there was a movie that came out, that was supposed to come out, and right when it was supposed to come out, it got a complete rewrite from scratch. And I knew the guy writing it. So, and that's after an acquisition. I'm trying to be vague here.
Right.
And then when the movie did come out, it was a comic book movie, it didn't really end up doing, but then you could see, like, oh yeah, this production got screwed. Like, you could see it while watching the movie. I'm like, yeah, I see exactly where, things went wrong. But it wasn't his fault. Like, so there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that happen that cause things to be the way they are, which is what a lot of people don't understand. I'm starting to see it more because I'm seeing a lot of these comments nowadays. I'm like, I used to be just like that.
Right.
Where I'm like, well, just have some patience. I'm like, but I was that same person just yelling back in the day, like, oh, this is whack. You know what I mean? Why is it like this? Like, I don't
bullshit.
You know what I mean? Not my Wolverine, like, random stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Do you realize that?
Yeah, there's a lot that people don't understand that happens. So like, I've grown. I've become more tolerant, more patient, and not as prone to anger. Like, I'll still rip into things now and then, but I try to be a little bit more educational with it. Like, a little better. This This is a grown man MDogg. It's not a young kid that was yelling at everything and calling things whack and all that. Like, it was like, I mean, things are still whack, but you know what I mean? I convey that message better.
Right. What about you, Joe?
I think I have started to give different things a chance because I would always live inside of a box and watch the same things or the same type of things over and over again.
He was opposed to prequels. I couldn't get this man to watch a prequel back in the day. Like, he couldn't. He's like, I already know what's going to happen. I don't want to watch the prequel. Like, now
I was anti-prequel. He would mention the prequel. I get mad. He messed my whole
prequels
day.
now.
Now prequels, I'm all about when's the next prequel? I want to see what happened before this shit happened.
Because if he didn't watch prequels, then he wouldn't want to watch Andor, and I'll be damned if people don't watch Andor.
Yes.
You watching Andor.
So yeah, I've grown and I have learned to give things a chance, even with food.
Right.
Food and actual videos. I've given things a chance. The older I've gotten, the more we have done YouTube, I've learned that there are way more things than what I'm just used to that I could possibly enjoy.
Step outside of your comfort zone.
He got me to try a ramen spot. And when I tried ramen, I would always tell him, why would I go to a ramen restaurant if I can just buy ramen from the market? And this is something that sounds so simple. Right. I was against it. But then when I went, I realized how creative people got with ramen. Mm-hmm. So that is an example of how we have both grown over the years. I had to expand my mind.
He's become more cultured.
I've become more cultured.
I can relate. I didn't try a premium ramen spot until I was probably like in my early 20s. For a long time. Yeah.
Man, y'all didn't know. Y'all didn't know. Y'all did not know.
You got to have someone guide you and do it. You got to have someone hold your hand to do it.
True.
How about Korean barbecue / hot pot?
Same. I didn't have Korean barbecue until I moved out to LA. Obviously, because I came from a small town growing up, so like it just wasn't around me. So, but like when I came out to LA, my friends took me one day, and yeah, it just changed my world.
It changed your life.
Yeah.
It changed you. Like, I want to live here.
See, me and him. Yeah. See, I'm from a small town, Pensacola, New Jersey. Yeah. Met him years later. I was like, Korean barbecue, what is this? I turned 24 or 25 years old. Him and my friend Jamie silent ninja. She's like, hey, let's try a Korean barbecue spot. I'm like, hold up. We got to cook our own stuff? No, not on my birthday. And next thing you know, can we go back next week to Korean barbecue?
Mm-hmm. I go almost like once a week to Korean barbecue
at
this point out here in LA.
Dangerous, man.
The last time you guys came, we went to Korean barbecue. That's the go-to spot.
Yep. God, I still got the pictures. I can still taste the food.
Yeah. I want to start to wrap things up here. And I like to sort of end these with reminding everyone watching and the channels participating that these platforms, these channels really have to be an outlet for yourself first and foremost. Like beyond being a business and generating money for yourself, it has to be something that you feel comfortable being on and having it be a part of your voice. So I want to ask, beyond any sort of financial or monetary value, what would you say is the most rewarding aspect of the channel for you at this point?
It's therapeutic because sometimes things go on behind the scenes. Sometimes life affects you and all that. And being able to make a video where you pour all your emotions into it, because we're passionate about doing these. It's an outlet. So it's a release. Like it helps us. And then when people laugh along with us, that's also therapeutic. There's so many people that hit us up. It's like, you got me through some hard times. That's always the biggest compliment you can give me. Telling me that the goofy stuff that we're doing helped you in some way. Like, so it's YouTube is therapy for me.
You might as well take what he said and understand I'm going to say the same exact thing. Those comments, seeing somebody say, hey, you helped me fight depression, or hey, I just lost a family member. I watched your videos to cope.
That's crazy to think about.
That's the reward.
When we initially did this, I didn't know that videos would have that kind of impact, but like seeing that it does, that's incredible to me. And I'm like, y'all helped me probably more than that helped you. Like y'all don't even understand. This is a two-way street here. Right.
Yeah, I mean that is a wonderful way to end with the point of the connection between you and the audience. We do have a final questionnaire inspired by Inside the Act Studio, our final 10-question prowess questionnaire.
Okay.
Just 10 questions down the barrel for, I guess, each of you can give an answer. So let's get started.
All right.
First question is, what is your favorite TV show?
Me, seasons 1 through 5 of Green Arrow. Boom.
Green area.
Friday Night Lights.
Right. Good picks. Good picks. What are your favorite films?
Jesus. Princess Bride, Galaxy Quest, Terminator 1. I'll go with those.
Okay.
Titanic, every Mark Wahlberg film, the first Avatar, and what was the football one? Oh, Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues. Great picks. Very, very eclectic selection there. What stresses you out?
Shit, the outside world.
Sunlight? No.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever been asked that question. Like, it seems like something easy to answer, though, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Negative people.
Yeah.
Think about it. And that can go. You can go so far with that comment.
Because I've ranted so much about this on stream. Yeah, that does stress me out. Like,
Negative people.
Just seeing like random, like not even random, just like overly done negativity to the point where some of it isn't even warranted. Yeah, that does stress me out. It shouldn't, but I see it. It's way too common these days, and that does stress me out.
Negative
Makes
people.
sense. What helps you relax?
Oh shit! I always tell him, going to the movies. That is my therapy. He hears me say it all the time. That's my therapy. That helps me relax. Going to the theater helps me ignore what's going on outside of those doors.
Right.
That's my therapy. That is what helps me relax. Going to the movie theater.
For me, streaming and doing videos helps me relax.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I'm always doing something.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe, when you get back out here, you definitely got to just go to every theater out here in LA. You know, the huge selection that we have out here.
You sound like, yo.
Yeah, they're like churches out here.
Oh, man.
What pastime outside of film and TV do you enjoy the most?
Video games.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feed stray animals per day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I keep I have a trunk full of cat food and dog food. And it sounds crazy, it sounds unrealistic, but I come across a lot of stray animals in Philly and I take a risk sometimes, but I open up a can and I feed them.
Oh, that's awesome.
I try to catch them. I don't search for them, but I like to see, if I come across them, I'm like,
you're
hey,
ready.
I have food in my trunk. I'm ready.
They find them.
They find me.
What is your guilty pleasure show or film?
Oh, shucks. What is that show that I always watched? The one that I loved. The two sisters.
Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls.
Oh, yeah?
Ain't a guilty pleasure. That's a good show.
You right there.
Guilty pleasure. I'm not guilty for anything I like, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's also fair. No need to feel the guilt.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer.
That's okay. I'll take Gilmore Girls. That's a good answer. What would be your dream profession besides reacting?
Acting.
Yeah,
Acting.
I think you guys would be great at it. Like, honestly, like you guys should consider doing some sort of live show. Truthfully,
Man,
One day. It's going to happen.
yeah.
one day.
What show or movie on your channel gave you your favorite reaction experience?
Squid Games or Stranger Things, like they both broke us.
I think Stranger Things.
I don't know. This episode of Squid Games had me leaking for a week. So
Both great picks. Yeah.
but I don't know.
Damn,
I'm kind of partial to Andor as well.
Andor destroyed us, but also, sheesh, the Mandalorian. That one episode that wasn't cool. Like
I think for me, probably Stranger Things, because like that whole journey was like something that I always remember from even like the trailers and how that was to lead into the show. Because I'm an '80s baby, so seeing that kind of aesthetic always gets me. But seeing it done like that,
Stranger Things.
I think probably Stranger Things season 4.
Right. What show or film do you wish you could erase from your memory and react to for the first time on the channel?
Oh,
And relive it again. Right, redo it. Avengers: Infinity War. I wish that I could forget it and watch it and just enjoy it all over again without knowing what's going to happen.
I would say Infinity War and Endgame because I consider them one movie.
That's
Because
a good pick.
the experience I had, man, this is unrivaled. That is still my favorite theater experience to this day. Nothing has matched that.
And I think
Nothing.
I think Endgame really made us. Endgame was one of our most emotional moments in the theater, where emotion was just there, where we cried, and we left as if we came from a funeral.
Right. Right. A final question. What advice would you give to your past self when you first started the channel?
Oh, shit.
Do exactly what you don't. No. Be more patient. Be more patient because I used to snap on things to the point where it was a little. I go back and look at it now. I'm like, Jesus Christ, why are you doing this? I'm talking to myself. Why are you this way? Just, it sounds generic though, but I think that's the main thing because there's some things I didn't have the patience for. Mm-hmm. Like The Witch. I've been notorious ripping that movie, but I'm like, you know what? The movie isn't really that bad. It's just like it wasn't for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this is growth here. Because I would do a whole 24-hour stream ripping that movie to shreds. But I'm like,
I can show growth with that movie as well. I grew to hate it more. That's my growth.
It was just promoted wrong to me. That's why. But like it seemed like
the scariest movie ever.
It's an indie film. Like, A24. That's the movies that they make. And there's some of their movies that I really enjoy.
Right.
But yeah, just be more patient.
Yeah. And how about you, Joe?
I would have back when we first started, if I could go back in time and talk to my earlier self as far as YouTube, I would just tell myself to learn more about editing.
I would say that too.
Like
Jesus.
I would just learn that early. And that way I could help out more. That's what I would tell that's what I would tell the earlier version of myself. Learn.
Right.
Learn. Just sit and learn.
I would burn out so much. I'd be a fireball at the computer.
Yo, were you tired?
Man.
Both great points. Thank you guys so much for coming on today. I really appreciate hearing your insight about the whole thing. And I look forward to if you manage to get those horror ideas from the script to the screen. That would I look forward to that in the future.
Thank you.
Where can everyone find you online, YouTube or otherwise?
YouTube is youtube.com/Struggle Nation. Twitch is twitch.tv/ECOMOG. TikTok is Struggle Nation TV. Instagram, of course, Instagram.com/ECOMOG. Go ahead.
And my new Instagram, because the other one got hacked, is N2_improv. N2_IMPROV.
Okay.
So
follow us on everything.
Follow us on everything, please. Plus, I need my
new content every day.
I need my my followers back.
So right.
Please follow.
Again, thank you guys for hopping on. It was a blast. Always a pleasure.
It was fun.
If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you found this through the newsletter, please share, spread the good word. We always appreciate new subscribers to that as well. And we will catch everyone on the next episode. Thank you.